So have you ever wondered why it is that when you look at other people's listings and maybe your competitors' listings on Google Maps or Google Search, they have Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, they have all these social media links that are shown there on their listing, and yet yours don't seem to show. And then you've gone into maybe the back end and you've looked to see on the dashboard, where do you add these social media links? Well, of course, you'll find they don't exist. So how do you get your social media links to appear on your listing? How can you get your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Instagram, your YouTube? How can you get them to appear in an easy way? Well, today I'm going to look at that in today's video. So I'm Zane from Zanet Design, and I help small businesses grow. So if you have a small business and you want it to get traction, to get interest from people that are potential clients, to come across you by means of social media, then this is the platform for you. This video is going to particularly show you how I'm going to make sure that my social media platform and my various links are going to appear on my Google My Business listing. I'm going to show you some examples of who has done that in the past. I'm also going to explain why Google thinks it's important, why it's important to your users, and why you need to do it today, because it does take some time before it appears. And I'm also going to reveal the fact that Google has a bit of control here over you. So you have to give it some clues as to what you want it to appear here. I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm going to even monitor a live one on my own website. So thanks for joining me. And you'll find now as I drop into my computer, I'm going to take you through exactly the process. And by the end of this video, you'll be able to exactly know what to do when it comes to adding your social media links to your Google My Business location or listing. Let's have a look. So we talk about social profiles or social media. So let me show you what I mean. If I type in marketing digital London, let's go for that. And hopefully we'll get an idea as to, okay, so here we've got a few different websites. If I just click on this one here, so this goes to Google Maps. And if we go down here, there you go. So we've got Facebook and LinkedIn. These are called profiles. Now, I'll give you a better example. I noticed that there's one company section here on their profile. You notice that they've got all 5 here, profiles. Now, I've never seen any more than those 5. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at the simple way in which you can make sure that you're doing everything you can so that Google gives you your Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And of course, if you have those on there, not only is it better for your visitors, but it also means greater traffic to your social media or social profiles. But it also means you're more authentic again, which is all about building up your brand. And then that will in effect have an impact on your website, on your social media, and ultimately on your Google My Business listing as well. So we're going to look at how there are some examples. So those are some of the examples there. And we'll look at the example of myself and I'm going to see if I can increase mine from just the Facebook and Twitter links that I've got. We're going to look at why Google wants it, why you need it, how you can add it to your knowledge panel like we've done, or like we can see here. And we're also going to make sure you've got the code snippet you're going to need. And also we're going to test it to just make sure it works before we upload it. Then we're going to add it to the website. But you don't necessarily need to add it to the website or add the code. That's just a belt and braces technique. We're going to see also how you can just add it for a standard footer on your website. And then we're going to make sure that Google gets it, that it suggests it to Google so the algorithm picks it up. So there's quite a lot to cover, but I'm going to take you through the whole process. So don't miss anything, because if you jump too far ahead, you'll miss some of the process along the way. And then at the end, we'll then reflect to see whether or not Google has picked it up and whether the suggestions to Google has been accepted or not. So let's dive straight in to see how we're going to go about this. So first of all, why does Google want it? You notice Google calls it social profiles. And so those social profiles, it's referring to this area here. Okay, so why do they want it? Well, they want it because, as it says here, Google gathers information from a variety of sources, and they may include to give it to customers a more detailed overview of the business. So they see that Google sees this as giving your customers better information about your website or your business. you notice that it's based on two factors. The first one is consistency. Use the same name. So you'd want to make sure that, again, we speak about NAP, having the same name, address, phone number across your business listings. That would be one thing that helps. And authenticity, that's the other thing as well. So you'd want to make sure that you've verified your account. So if you've got a social media account like Twitter or Facebook, you'd want to make sure that they are verified as well. And if you do that, that's obviously the first point of reference. So that tells us how Google is viewing it. But there's an interesting thought in there. You may notice that Google gathers the business information. And this is why when you go into Google My Business back end, so if we were to do that now, so you'll notice there that there's no reference to updating your social media or your social profiles. So you can go through all of these. Info is often the place that you'll find it when it comes to details and filling things out. But once again, you'll notice there's nothing there about your social profiles. And so that's probably where most people have been looking and then wondering, well, then how do you get these social things added? And that's what we're going to look at. So let's go back to this thought then, consistency and authenticity. So we need to check, first of all, do we have those things? Are they represented? And there's several ways we can do this. So I'm going to try it on my website. Now I know that for my website, for some reason, I've only got a couple of social linkings or social media accounts. So if I just search my company, if I come down here and I notice that I've got Facebook and LinkedIn. Now I've got no Twitter, no YouTube, no Instagram. So how am I going to get those on there too? Well, remember that we need to kind of suggest it first of all. We need to get Google to pick up on it because this is something that we don't control from our control panel. So how do I go about that? Well, one of the things I can do is first of all to make sure that I've got links to those social media from somewhere on the website. And if you look at my home page, there's nothing there to suggest that they should link through to my Facebook, my YouTube. In fact, how has it even picked up on the fact that I've even got a social media profile of Facebook and LinkedIn? Well, probably through links from other things, like if I go to my YouTube channel, and you'll notice there on my About page, I've now got my listings here of Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, my website as well. So I just wonder whether it's picked up from this because of course Google already owns YouTube, but it hasn't picked up my Twitter account. So the first thing is the schema, schema.org, and you can basically tell Google that your information at those various areas, those social media links, are the same as, or you're the same company as, Zanet Design Limited in my case, or whatever your company is. And you can do that through code. Now I'm going to go to my website and I've got, if I look at view page source, and I did put some code in here a while ago, but it's picked up on some of it. So if I type in schema, there you go. So this piece here tells Google that using schema.org, that I'm telling it that my website is an organization and the name of my website is Zanet Design Limited, and then the website address is the same as, and this is the key bit, then Facebook, comma, and then Zanet Design, which actually that's probably not right, and then LinkedIn and Twitter. So I've put 3 in there. Now I'm going to edit this. I'm going to put all 5 in. I'm also just going to check a couple of things here. I'm going to authenticate that code because it may be a bit wrong, and then I'm going to see whether that gives clues to Google as to how to get those 5. Now that's just one way to do it. There is another way as well, and I'm going to do both ways, and then I'm hoping that it's belt and braces. What this does, this basically gives Google the sign that I want it to put those things there. So when it spiders my website next, it will hopefully pick those things up. It's a bit like cheese to a mouse. It's just encouraging it to sniff around, and the fact it says same as is the bit that's telling it to put these things in here. Now if you don't like putting in code, if you're a bit scared of doing that, then there's another way to do it as well, which we'll look at in a moment, but I'm going to do the code way first. So here's the piece of code that you're going to need, and basically if you follow this process, so I'm going to leave this code below for you to copy and paste, and you'll need to put this into your website on your home page. And basically you need to first of all say whether it's personal or an organisation, but of course in this case, being a business, it's an organisation. Next thing, you fill out your name, and this needs to be exactly the same name that you use throughout your company. So Zanet Design Limited. Keep it consistent with everywhere else so that gives Google the right signal. Now the URL of your website. So in this case, my URL is my web page. So I'm going to copy and paste in my exact URL as is found in my home page, so including the secure for that. And this is now where you put your social media. So I'm going to put all 5. So my website URL is the same as, and then the first one I've put here is the Instagram account. Okay, so what I've done is I've just copied the last 2. I'm going to put the Twitter one in there. Now if you get any of this wrong, then it won't work, and therefore the best way to do this is to test it once you've added it. Okay, so just make sure the quotes are incorrectly there, the quotes are around same as, and then from this bracket to this bracket it needs to have a comma between each one. So that all looks good to me. Close quotes on each one as well. Okay, so that is probably acceptable, but it's best to check. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut and paste this into a way where I can then check to see if this works. Google Structured Data Testing Tool, and you've got 2 options here. You can either fetch URL or you can code snippet. I'm going to do the code snippet first of all. So I've copied and pasted. Let's see if there's any issues at all. So run the test. No errors, no warnings, no items. So from Google's point of view, that is acceptable code, which is great news. That's what I wanted to see. So now I need to add it to my website. But the easier way to do it, and again, if you're not into code, and this is possibly something just to forget because this is quite a complex way for most people, the easier way is to just make sure you've got your Yoast plugin on your website. So if you've heard of Yoast, I'll put a link down below for you as well. So Yoast plugin is an SEO plugin that is free, and the beauty is if you've got those different pages, so first of all just identify your various pages of your social media as I've done here, so just make sure you've got all the right addresses to enter, and then you simply just enter your particular social media address straight into the right one, and it will produce that schema for you. So I'm going to do this now. Okay, so we've got the schema again, and we just check. So what have we got? We've got Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter. Fantastic. Now, is that correct though? Is the code being written correctly? We're going to run a test on the URL. So I'm going to enter my URL, run the test. And what this does, it looks at the code to just check that everything is correct. So here we go. So we're looking at organisation, and that's fine, and my name's fine, the website's fine. Then we've got Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube and Twitter, and that is it. That's all we're after. So that is going to give Google and tell them that all those are the same as Zanet Design Limited, and the idea then is it will then appear so that when people start to look for the social media, they'll start to see these are the same thing. So we're now really beginning to get to the point where we're giving clues to Google. But that's not all we can do. We can do something else as well. Is to have those same links on our website, but for customers to view. So they don't have to be too large. I've just produced them at the bottom here. So this is just a little bit. So the Facebook, the Twitter, the YouTube, LinkedIn and Instagram, they're just little links now that can appear there as well. And the idea is, again, it just shows to Google, it signals to Google that I want them to link through. So Google now can link through using these. It's got the schema and the code. It's got several ways now to know that I'm serious about having all 5 and not just the 2 that it's managed to pick up so far. So we've seen some examples of the fact you can have at least 5 of these social media links or social labels that can be there for people to find out more about your business and the authenticity of it. We've also seen that Google wants you to be authentic. It wants you to be able to show proof of your authority when it comes to the knowledge panel and the profiles that are connected with your business. So social profiles are important to Google. We've also seen the reason why you need it is because it does build credibility, and it will obviously give your visitors and Google a richer understanding of what your business is about. So that's obviously going to help with rankings, and also help people perhaps decide to subscribe to you if they're interested in what you do. And how can you then add it to the knowledge panel? Well, we saw there's a few ways. You could just add the code, the snippet code, into your normal template code as HTML. You could also test it, as we've seen. You can add it through Yoast, which is probably the easiest way. And then you can also add code at the bottom on your footer just to point people directly through. So with links through to the social media accounts, and with links through to the various using the structured data and testing to make sure it's correct, you then give Google more than one signal, more than one lump of cheese for it to then take and to hunger on, and then to make a decision. Now, can you do anything else? There is one more thing you can do to suggest to Google that it needs to take this seriously, and I'm just going to show you that now. So let's suggest to Google that we want to also just get them to think twice about adding my social media accounts. So the way to do this is to suggest it as an edit. So if you go to your website, so basically you search for your website, you go to knowledge panel, and you go to edit your business information, and then you're going to change your name, and on here it just gives you a few other things you can suggest. Now there's no real area to suggest it, but what it does say here, and I kind of am interested in seeing how this works, is if you want to update your Google Knowledge panel, this is how it suggests to do it. But you'll notice on this page, a bit further down, it does cover social profiles, which is what we're interested in. Legible entities will be able to suggest the addition of new or edit existing social profiles. Profiles cannot be reordered. So I noticed that I don't have the ability to add my social profiles here. But if you notice, there's nothing really there that gives me the ability to let Google know that I want to make some changes at this time. So it appears that not everyone has got that facility. Maybe that's one that some countries have, or maybe it's just limited to certain categories. But if you do have that facility, then even though you can't reorder the profiles, you can suggest or you can edit what's being put there. You may feel, so okay, how long does it take for those changes? I mean, I've made those changes now, 10 minutes ago. So how long will it take for them to show? Is they reckon it can take up to 40 to 50 days before Google does that. But one of the things you can do is just make sure that Google is spidering your site. And to do that, if you go to the Search Console, and on the Search Console, if I just add my home page and ask for Google to index it, it will of course already be indexed, but the difference is I want it to be re-indexed because the page has changed. So request indexing. And that's it. Now it'll be crawled and it will be found. So there's an index for that. And that will just make sure that Google is fully up to date with the changes that I've just made. So Google now will find in the code that schema that I showed you in the code. It will also discover these 5 links here, and in no time at all, hopefully, and not the 40 to 50 days that they say, I'll have more than just 2 social media links. So check back if you want to see whether I got more than those 2 links, and then next time you watch this video, type in Zanet Design or Zanet Design Limited, and then take a look on the right hand side and see whether there's more than 2 to appear. Now, if you've managed to do this, or you managed to just check your profiles, let me know in the comments below. Let me know if it worked. Let me know which ones it tends to pick up. Let me know which process you used. Did you use the code one, the schema one, the Yoast one? Did you use the just using links in the footer, graphically speaking? Let me know which one worked for you. And if you've got any problems as well, put them down as questions below. Make sure you subscribe, because pretty much at least 2 or 3 times a week now, I'm providing some really high quality, useful content for small businesses, and particularly growing and expanding your business, keeping you up to date with social media, particularly with Google My Business, YouTube, and making sure that you grow your business so that you can continue to thrive and get more customers picking up the phone and looking for your business. So thank you for joining me, and make sure that you follow one of these videos now that's going to help you to improve in the growth of your small business.